Ashlee.
Hi, Gabby.
How's it going today?
Well, my anxiety is a little crazy.
You're looking a little bit tense.
I have a lot to talk about with you today.
Well, let's just get right to it then.
Okay, so I know that you're a little bit familiar with the fact that I'm in a relatively new relationship. I mean, we've been together for about 5 months now.
Yeah.
But I was in a relationship with my ex for 9 years. It ended very badly. He was like a classic narcissist. I know I don't really have the ability to diagnose people, but I'm just saying that
you have a pretty good understanding.
I'm just saying I have a pretty good understanding on what a narcissist is, and he meets the criteria for sure. So, anyways, it was really, really toxic, and he made me really insecure. I'm sorry, it's gonna take me a little bit just to kind of process it because there was a lot of traumatic events, so like remembering stuff seems to be very difficult for me for some reason. But he used to just like manipulate me a lot. Like everything that I did was like such a big deal, and everything that he did was not like a big deal. Like he would comment under girls' pictures. It sounds so stupid saying social media, but he would comment under women's pictures on social media, and he would just like do very like flirtatious things and stuff like that.
That's not stupid. Those are your feelings. Those are valid.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Finally, someone doesn't think I'm crazy.
You're not.
But then, like, I would do something so small as, say, an old friend from high school. I hung out with a lot of guys in high school just because I'm just not the type of person that gets along with a lot of women. I always clicked with the guys because I'm very rough around the edges. I was always into play fighting, football, basketball, like, all that stupid stuff. Well, not stupid stuff, excuse me, just that type of stuff. So a lot of guys from high school, like, one time, one of my really close old friends, Jose, messaged me on Facebook to try to, like, reconnect. Mind you, he's married with children. I know his wife. They're very happy. And we were just having very casual conversation, and then he must have looked at my phone because I never had a lock on my cell phone during our relationship, and he must have looked through my phone, and, like, the next morning, I always knew when something was wrong with him because he wasn't a communicator. He would isolate me intentionally, and he would play mind games, and he would say things instead of, like, directly addressing me. He'd be like, so what did you do wrong today that you should be having a conversation with me about?
That must have been really tough for you.
Like,
yeah.
First of all, I feel like you're talking to me like I'm a child.
Well, you almost feel attacked.
I feel attacked. That's such a manipulative tactic. Like, the stress and the mental, like, anxiety that puts you through, like, I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, and I'm literally sitting there, mind you, I'm never cheated. I at that time, like, there was nothing, and I'm, like, literally losing my shit over trying to figure out what the hell he's talking about. Finally, after like 5 days of not speaking to me at all.
And you lived together.
And we lived together.
That's tough.
Not even one word to me. Completely isolated me, like sleeping on the couch, doing all of this like insane stuff. Now I'm like getting like really like upset. Like what the hell is going on? This is freaking torture at this point. And then finally, he comes up. He's like, "So, do you have anything you need to say to me?" He's like, is 8 days of not talking enough now for you? Are you going to finally admit what you're doing? I'm literally still sitting there like...
Well, it's hard to fix a problem when you don't know what the problem is.
That's always said. How? You know what it is. You know what it is. Manipulation. I'm like, what are you talking... He's like, the messages in your phone. And I'm like, what messages? Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. He's like, Jose... Or no, he said, is there any conversations that you're having that you probably shouldn't be having with other men? I'm like, no. Like, what are you fucking talking about at this point? And then finally we get to he's like, oh, Jose, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that conversation was so platonic. He asked me how I was, like, how you, like, just like casual combo.
Yeah, he wouldn't be asking about you.
Yeah, I'm like, we're reconnecting, and, you know, because he was a good friend. I mean, he used to call my mom Ma when we were in high school. Like, he was a really good friend of me. He's like, you didn't mention me once in those messages. I'm like, I've been with you for almost 9 years. He's well aware that we're in a relationship together.
Yes,
I mean, he wasn't bringing up his wife 24/7. I know he's married. I'm like, and the conversation was completely platonic. I don't believe it. You could have deleted those messages. I'm like, what are you even talking about right now? I'm like, so you didn't speak to me for almost 8 days based off of what? Like, you don't even have evidence. You literally made up in your mind that there was a conversation that was had outside of that conversation that was actually had. And then you isolated me for 8 days and did not speak to me. So
sounds like he needs to come to these sessions by himself.
Definitely needs a therapist. So that's just kind of how things always worked with us, right? Like, And then I would find something that he would do that would be like really inappropriate. Like he was talking to a girl one time and like asking for nude pictures and things like that. And then when I approached that conversation, one, he always had a lock on his phone. I'd never had the number to it or whatever. I just didn't press it. Now looking back, I didn't press it because I knew I was going to find stuff that I didn't want to find, and then I figured that it would just be easier to lie to myself and live in this fucking fantasy world for my whole life.
It's really common for people to do, so don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, tried not to, but so he would, you know, obviously, again, he would go, he's a master manipulator, so when I finally approached him about it, he lied to me, and I'm like holding his phone like,
so can you please explain this to
I'm
me?
literally like, there is a message that you said, like, and then he started with the, oh, it's because you're so insecure, and I have body image issues, like severe body image issues, that it would cause major issues in our sex life and stuff like that. I really was working towards fixing them, and he's like, oh, but you're so insecure, and you're always this and that, like completely took the heat off himself, blamed me, and he would just always do that. So he conditioned me to make me believe that, like,
you're now stuck in a cycle.
Now I'm in a cycle. Now I'm always thinking like, it's my fault. He wouldn't be doing this if I was doing this. I never made him be accountable for his own behaviors, and he was never accountable for his own behaviors.
You shouldn't have to make someone be accountable. I hope you understand that.
No, you're right.
He should be accountable, and yes, you can push him in that direction, but you should never have to push someone to be accountable.
You're right. But I was at this place where he made me like, I always thought that I was a strong woman, and like I feel like he sucked every ounce of strength. It was my fault that I allowed it, but he like sucked every ounce of strength, and like he already knew that I had body image issues, and it's like, he would do nothing. Not that it's his responsibility to make me feel better about myself as a woman, because it's not anyone's responsibility but my own, but he would never do anything that would be semi-helpful or somewhat empowering. It was always like, you know, he would sit there, I'd be super dressed up, and he would look at a girl on the TV and be like, oh my gosh, like, she's bad. And then I'd be like in a dress up to go out with him for the night, and he wouldn't even say like,
and that's
wow,
tough.
you look beautiful, you look attractive. And I would say to him intentionally, I'd say, oh my God, you look so handsome tonight, babe. Nothing.
Well, and like you said, yes, you shouldn't rely on someone else, but sometimes the things people don't say can also bruise our egos too.
Yeah, and like he would always say like, oh, it's not my fault that you have low self-esteem. Like, you should fucking work on that yourself, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that it's my job, but like, think about things like when you're building things in life, like other people are freaking contributors to that. Like,
absolutely.
It is freaking nice for you to help out a little bit. Like, I feel like when you really love someone, you want to make sure that they feel their best, that they want to feel great, that they want to feel loved and desired.
Of
That's
course,
so important.
yes, you're not wrong.
Yeah, no, well, he never did that, but it was always just like, oh, you're the pathetic one, you're weak, and then the tables kind of, now this went on like for years. When he got pissed off at the smallest thing, he would isolate me. The most that we ever went was 16 days without speaking, not one word to one another.
Living in the same home too?
Living in the same home too.
That's
we literally got on a fucking, excuse my language, airplane to go on vacation together to the Caribbean, and we're still not fucking speaking.
That is, the powers of manipulation here need to be used for good, because clearly he's a master of the trade. And it's wrong to be using it against other humans.
And I literally would, it's like pathetic looking back, thinking like how much I would beg. Like I would tuck my tail between my legs and be like, you're right, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And like he would get me to that place where I would just say that it was my fault. I would take the heat off of him and I would always put it on me. And then after a while I started believing that, yeah, I am the fucking problem. You know what I mean? And like he always wanted to make sure that I stayed weak, because I realize now that he knew that once I got to the point and realized that he was the manipulative, narcissistic asshole, that I was going to get up and I was going to leave him, which ended up being the end result of everything. But it was like, then I finally got to a point where I started getting like, yo, what is wrong with you? Like, he would even say to me, now I've always worked full-time, or 2 jobs for the most part, and I've always gone to school full-time, and I've always been very domesticated. I cook dinner every night. I would clean. Like, I would do all the extra stuff. Both of them.
Dream housewife.
He had a son, and I have a daughter. Both of our kids were full-time sports. He did travel football. My daughter did travel soccer. So our schedules were, I attended every, practice, every soccer game, unless I absolutely could not have to. But I did my best to put give myself in every aspect 110%. And he would say to me, and he just worked. And I don't want to say just worked, but he would work a regular 8-hour shift, and he would come home and he would leave his shit everywhere. He'd sit his ass on the bed and he'd start playing video games. I would be cooking, cleaning, doing homework with the kids, making sure that their clothes are ironed, their stuff is ready for the next day. Lunches were prepared.
And
Well,
that's
he would
tough.
just sit there.
Parenting's a full-time job.
Parenting is a full-time job by themselves, and mind you, this is already after I've worked, 12 to 14 hours that day. I still have homework to get done. I still have all those things. And I used to just get so stressed out. Like, why do you want to watch me struggle? Like, I can't even watch him, like, if I'm sitting in bed and he starts sweeping the floor, I'm getting up right away because I feel like I need to be doing something too. Like, this is a partnership. No, it was never like that. So, and he would say to me, like, I would vent to him and I'd ask, like, can you help?
Yeah.
And he would say things to me like, I don't understand why you think you fucking do so much. Like, you act like there's not a million other women in this world that aren't being moms, going to school, and taking care of a household. And do you think they complain as much as you do?
Absolutely.
And I'd be like, yeah, yep. And
Absolutely.
they do. I said, yep. In my friend circle, we all live very similar lives. We all have children, active in sports. All of my friends go to school full-time, work full-time, but their husbands were much more.
I was gonna say, even if their husbands are active,
It doesn't
they're
make
still
it right.
complaining.
Yeah.
It's still hard.
But they were more active. They would help clean. They would help do all those things. Like, they were just more active and appreciative, and they wouldn't belittle their spouses.
Absolutely.
And so that was just a vicious cycle. And then I finally got to a point where I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Ashlee? Like, why are you holding? And I just started getting tired of his shit. It was like I woke up one morning and a light switch went off. It was probably a year before we actually separated completely. It was just like a light switch went off, and I just started getting tired of his shit and, like, his isolation tactics. Like, they didn't affect me anymore. I would get to the point where I'd be like, you don't want to talk? I don't fucking care. Like,
you're like, good.
Yeah, like, I really don't care. Like, oh, you don't want to talk? Okay, that's fine.
That's your strength. That's your strength.
Yeah, like, that's your problem. I don't care about it anymore. And it's like, what used to cut me so deep was, like, barely even nicking the skin anymore. And that's where the changes started to really manifest for me. That's where I started looking in the mirror and seeing myself, and it started to empower me. So I started working out, and I still have a lot of weight to lose, but I did lose 40 pounds. I was
Good for you. That's awesome.
I was a lot heavier than what I am now, and I started dressing up every day for work, and just like
doing those things, make you feel good about
getting
yourself.
pedicures and maintain, because it was like a double-edged sword with him. He would say to me, like, you never do shit for yourself, like, you're always out here looking raggedy, like, what's the point of working all these hours if you're not going to do anything for yourself? But then when I did start doing stuff for myself, it started to make him insecure. Who are you doing all this shit for? Oh, you're taking all these pictures on social media now just so men can tell you that you're beautiful and you're attractive. That's fucking pathetic. It even got to a point where in the mornings I used to get the kids ready, get them off to school, and I'd still have about a half hour before I had to leave for work. So I would take that as my quiet time. And he went to work later than me. I would get my coffee and I would go sit back into the bed, and he'd still be sleeping. Just, sit next to him. I'd be having my coffee and I'd be scrolling through my phone, just chill time. And he would always complain, like, what the fuck? Like, you're disturbing me, like, blah, blah, blah. So I started taking my coffee in the living room in the morning, just sitting on the couch. That became a problem. Oh, I noticed that your behavior's changing. Now you're taking your coffee in the living room. Who the fuck are you talking to at 7:30 in the morning? Like, what? Even down to the point, like, the way that you hold your phone in bed is different. I feel like you're talking to someone. It just started getting really crazy.
Well, unfortunately, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but it's a cycle of abuse,
Yeah,
Putting you down, and then when you do the things that they say that you're not doing, and then to tell you that you're still doing it wrong, it's to keep you in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm glad that you were able to find your way out of it.
I wish it didn't take me 9 years, but the end result is the same, right? I got out of it, but...
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just started doing better for myself, and, he started saying that I was cheating on him. I was not cheating on him. And just like he was tracking my cell phone. Yep, so he would call me, and I didn't realize it until after, but yep, he had access to my iCloud account, so he was always checking my Where's My iPhone on the app, so he could know my location, because I do travel for work, and I can leave work to see clients and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would never really paid attention, but he got to this point, like, he would start calling me and being like, oh, where are you? And I never really thought anything of it, because I just thought, like, he was trying to, like, talk more, because we never really talked throughout the day. So it was, like, making me happy. And he'd be like, oh, where are you? And I'd be like, I just left, I don't know, Old Navy or something like that. Because, sometimes I'd see a client, I'd have a little bit of time to spare, I'd go run an errand or something.
Oh, of course. I get it.
And he'd be like, oh, so you're in Old Navy, like, right now? And I'm like... well, I mean, I just left Old Navy. I'm walking up Barnes and Nobles now, like, or something. So, and now it clicks to me like he was literally sitting at a computer screen,
trying to see if
looking, making sure that my story aligned with where my location was. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's stalker. That's a stalker, and that's definitely.
And that's not something you need
I'm
in
not
your
the
life.
professional here, but that sounds like a mental health, like mental illness.
Yes.
And so whatever. So everything transpired, and one night it just kind of came to a head, and he was hell bent on accusing me of cheating. And basically we just went back and forth. We got into a verbal altercation. Our kids were in the other room going to bed for the night, and the verbal altercation just escalated. I just basically said to him, like, I don't want to fight. The kids can hear us. You know, we normally were pretty good about making sure that, like, our kids were not around and present when we would get into blowouts, which would get really fucking bad. And that night he would not let up, and we just we continued to fight, and we were engaged. And I just said to him, like, I'm done. I'm not doing this with you anymore. And I took my ring off and I put it on the side of the thing, and he said, if you take that fucking ring off, you'll never put it on again. And I said, I don't ever want to put it on again. And that's when he lost it. And then he was like, you're a fucking whore. I know that you just put that ring on because you want to, I'm sorry, I'm going to be really vulgar.
You don't
give you the
ever have to apologize.
He's like, I know you took that ring off because you just want to fuck other people. You think because you lost weight, now people want you. Men are just going to fuck you and leave you like every other man in your life has ever done to you. You're not shit without me. When I met you, you lived with your mother. I was 19.
And a single mom.
And mind you, that was only temporary because I already moved out of my home with my daughter that. And I had to go back home because finances.
Huge feat.
And feat. You would never be shit you'll never be shit without me. You fucking need me. I know you're cheating on me. You're a whore. So finally it got to a place where he literally this went on for about a 3-hour span. No lie. Because he's relentless. And I just looked him in the face. I said, fine, do you want to hear that I'm cheating on you? I'm fucking someone else. And that's exactly what I said to him. Obviously I was lying. Yeah. But after being...
You just feel like give him what he wants.
I was being prodded like continuously over and over again. And he lost his shit, and he got really close to my face, and he was like, I fucking knew it, you stupid fucking slut. And he put his arms on my shoulders, and he started slamming me up against the wall, and I just was like, literally like this up against the wall. I was like, get off me, just leave me alone, get off me, get off me. And at this point, he was like, not intentionally spitting in my face, but he was so irate. Like, when I tell you I'm not easily intimidated by anyone, honestly. The only person that probably scares me is my mother.
I was going to say, you don't strike me as someone easily intimidated by others.
Honestly, no one ever intimidates me. I've never even met someone that, even if I was in a threatening situation, unfortunately, there's something wrong in my brain that fear just doesn't register to me the way that it does normal people.
That's nothing wrong in your brain. That's just how your brain works, and that's okay.
And so I'm really not scared of much. And I was actually scared. And I was just like, get off me, and I couldn't get him off me. And finally, I got angry, and I shoved him really hard, and I was like, get your fucking hands off of me. Because at this point, he's like slamming me into the, it was a corner of my bedroom, like a corner like that. He's like slamming my head, smashing up against the wall. He's hurting my arms. He's like spitting in my face, calling me a whore, a slut, a piece of shit.
You can only take so much for so long.
You weak bitch, you're fucking pathetic. So finally, I shoved him off of me. And when I shoved him, that's when he grabbed me by my hair and he started punching me in the face. And naturally, I am an aggressive person when hit by someone else, and I didn't fight back. I literally crumbled in the corner of my bedroom as he beat the fuck out of me, and I didn't do anything but cry and beg him literally just to stop as he hit me over and over again. And finally, he stopped, and I just sat there for a little bit. And I just said, I'm done, get the fuck out of this house. And he refused to leave. And then I went into the bathroom to go look at my face, and I literally could not believe what my face looked like.
You say that must have been tough to look at, because big change.
It was not easy at all. And then I went back in the room, and then he was like, just listen to me, I want to talk to you, I just want to talk to you, okay? If you made me hit you, like, if you didn't piss me off so fucking bad, I would have never hit you. And it was like, I think that was the pivotal moment where I was like, you're the one that has shit, like, you're fucking sick in your head. Like, you are the one with issues, it is not me. Like, it was like 9 years of, like, aha moments just happened, like, flashbacks, one after another, after another, after another. And I'm like, I'm not the fucking sick person here. Like, you're the sick person here. Like,
I'm glad you had that moment.
Like, all these years, I thought that I was the one that was fucked up in the head. You are so fucked up. Like, the fact that you could say to me that the only reason, now mind you, when I tell you that my eye was literally, like, my face was fucking torn to shreds, like, and for you to be able to look at me and say that it was my fault, that if I didn't piss you off or get you to this point that you would have never had to hit me. What type of sick, twisted shit is that? That was just my moment.
Especially because, unfortunately, it sounds like he believes it.
No, he does believe it. That's the thing, is like, he is classic at, he's a villain, but people don't view him as a villain because he is so good. He's like a Ted Bundy. Like, he's so good at being able to appear charming and loving and has a great personality. He's very intelligent and all that, but like behind closed doors, he is like a manipulative, like psycho, stalking, sick motherfucker, literally.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's a good thing you got yourself out of that situation because you just compared him to Ted Bundy. We know how that ends for some people.
Yeah, so that's quite the comparison. But honestly, like, he had sociopathic tendencies along with like narcissistic personality disorder. Like, he had issues upon issues upon issues, and you know, the next that same night, he refused to leave. I didn't speak to him. I got up the next morning. I brought his son to school. I called out of work. Obviously, I couldn't go to work that day because my face was trashed. My daughter went to
explain to people.
Yep, and my daughter went to school, and then I took the suitcases out of my closet. I packed up my shit, what I could take. I called my mom. I just said, me and Gianna need to come stay with you and Dad. And she said, what happened? And I said, I don't want to talk about it right now, but when I get there, we'll talk. But can we stay there for a while? And my parents, of course, anything. And she was like, of course, come now, and I'll leave work. And then I went over there, I packed up my daughter's shit, my shit, and I never went back. But it was really hard. It took my face a month to heal. I had to see a plastic surgeon. They thought that they were going to have to do surgery on my eye socket.
I'm glad they didn't have to.
Yeah, I had to do CAT scans and all that shit because my face was torn to shreds. Obviously, that was like a really deep, dark time, blah, blah, blah.
But now it's following you into your next relationship, and that's difficult.
And the problem is that now I have met a really wonderful guy. I mean, like, really wonderful. And I did learn so much from my previous relationship, and I do have really high expectations now, as I should.
Absolutely.
And almost, because I've transformed into like a completely different woman that I was.
And in a good way, I'm hoping.
In a very good way. Like, my standards, I know that, like, or at least maybe I thought I did, and then now I'm in a relationship, and now I'm starting to see some of those same thought patterns start to seep into my new relationship.
Like, which ones?
Just like, so before I got into my relationship now, I was a very secure woman. I was getting to that point, like, I was secure. I'm like, you know, here I am, like, I have 2 really great jobs. Like, I make actually really good money for myself. Like, I'm a single mother. You know, I drive a nice car. I have a nice home. My daughter gets to do nice things. We get to vacation frequently. Like, I started feeling really empowered. Like, you are the exception.
Absolutely.
You are, you know what I mean? Like, only 2%, well, 2.5% now. 2.5% of teenage mothers graduate college by the age of 30.
And you're about to be getting your master's.
And that's the bet for your bachelor's. Like, that means that, like, I am the exception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're in like the 0.01%.
Yeah, like, I am the exception. So that shows that I am technically above average in what I'm doing. Like,
far beyond average.
And I started feeling like, you know what? Like, I am freaking, like, killing it in fucking life right now, you know? And it started to make me just come off as a different person. Like, everyone tell me, like, you're just glowing, you seem so happy, like, you're so confident, like, oh my God, like, when you walk in a room, I just, like, you just feel the shift and shit, like, and I really started to embrace that because for so many years I felt like I couldn't embrace that maybe I was attractive or smart or this and that because I had someone that the moment that I lit that spark, they snuffed that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
So then I meet my significant, you know, the man that I'm now in a relationship with, and he just, like, brags about me so much, and he just, like, loves everything about me. Like, oh my God, like, you're so smart. Like, how did I even get you? Like, I don't even understand how you're giving me a chance. And
that's wonderful.
You know, like, you're so motivating and driven, and, like, I've never met anyone that hustles any harder than you. Like, you make me want to be, like 10 times better of a man. Like, he always says to me, like, you're so high above me that you make me want to work so hard every day to continue to like get closer and closer and closer and closer to you. Like, you make me want to be a better man every single solitary day.
That's wonderful.
With everything that you do. And like, he's attentive, he's loving. The moment that we got into a relationship, not that this is stupid, it sounds stupid, but like, he gave me the password to his phone right away.
That's not
like,
stupid. That's his way of saying, like, I know that you have had a tough time, so if this helps at all, I want to be able to get you there.
Yes, like, meets me in the middle with everything. Like, even when I'm having a bad day, my ex always used to say things like, I would be like, I have such a terrible day. He'd be like, yo, like, just get over it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that serious. Like, he would always just, like, isolate me and make me feel like I was dramatic. My new boyfriend is like, well, what can we do to make you feel better? Like, do you want me to grab a bottle of wine on my way home and, like, we can have a glass and we can talk about your day together? Just, like, never isolating me, but, like, always bringing, like, reminding me that, like, we're a team, we're in this together. Like,
and that's what you deserve.
Like, I'm not dramatic. Like, makes me feel okay to be that sensitive person that, you know, I apologize for being for so many years. And gives me that space to be like this emotional fucking mess. And like, doesn't make me feel like I'm weak for it. Makes me feel like I'm strong for it. That I can express myself, that I can, you know. And I literally the other day just sat down after I had class, and I literally just went home and I had like a mental breakdown because, you know, I'm struggling right now in class. And I just went and had a mental breakdown, and he was just like, listen, like, you know, what can I do to help you? Like, we're gonna figure this out together. Like, we're a team. Like, you do so much. Like, you're so strong. And just like, it's just like, oh, instead of making me feel like I was like wrong for complaining or bitching, like, he always reminds me that we're on a team together, and that's like awesome. Such a great feeling. So like, all of these great things, like, he's a fairy tale guy. I mean, he literally gave me a pedicure last night. I mean, he brushes my hair when I get out of the shower. He gave me pedicures. He's painted my toenails. Like, he gives me back massages for no goddamn reason. Like, he's always telling me I'm beautiful when I look ugly is good, all hell, okay?
Well,
like,
sometimes coming from a really traumatic relationship to this, what seems like a unicorn relationship, is a really tough transition, because we call it a unicorn because it feels unreal, or a fairy tale because it feels like it could never happen. But we see it happen in other people, right?
Yeah, so I'm happy that you said that, because I know that these relationships exist because I have people in my life that have relationships. Like, my friend Steph, one of my best friends, Steph, and her significant other Rod, he's probably one of the best men that I've ever met in my life outside of like my own dad. Like, he is attentive and loving, and they've been together for almost 10 years, and still like comes in the house and kisses her and just idolizes her, just like she is the sun, the moon, and the stars. So I see these relationships being modeled right in front of me, but yet I guess I spent so many years feeling that I was undeserving of that, or looking at other people's relationships and wishing so bad that I had that, and I was saying like, just like making excuses for why I didn't have it, and now I have it, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like, and I'm always questioning it. Now I start feeling like I'm getting annoying. Like, am I annoying him? Am I being too much? Because I'll say like, do you love me? And he'll be like, of course I do. And I'll be like, no, but like love me. Like, he's like, yes, girl, of course I do. I love you. Like, I show you every day that I love you. And I'll be like, okay, sorry. And then he'd be like, why are you apologizing? You don't have to say sorry. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. He'd be like, you're apologizing again. He's like, it's okay. You don't have to apologize for these things. And I'll be like, you know, my ex was just like really terrible. And he said, and listen, I will pay for that man's mistakes every day of my life because you are worth every second of that.
That's
like,
wonderful that he says those things.
How the fuck can someone be so great? And then I start thinking, like, is he just saying that because it sounds good? Like, and then here I go second guessing, because nothing was real in my relationship with my ex. Like, I really thought for many years, like, I had a really good relationship with him. But, like, he got another girl pregnant, which I found out after. Like, he literally lived a completely double life. Like, I found a photo album. Like, he had a jailbroken phone. He, like, archived some, like, encrypted fucking secret photo album in his cell phone with, like, nothing but nude pictures and messages and screenshots from other women. Like, he went to the furthest lengths to like hide things. Like,
well, and that's tough to transition from one relationship to another, knowing that you like what you've been through, and you are going to second guess yourself, and it's great that you have somebody who's like, go ahead, second guess yourself all you want, I'm not going anywhere.
Like, he literally my new boyfriend, he literally walked into the bedroom the other day, and I was literally on. Now, I had no reason to feel compelled to go through his cell phone, none at all. It was my own head, and I see that my wounds from my previous relationship are starting to bleed. Now, he hasn't noticed them yet, but I can feel the shift, and I can see that I'm starting to bleed into this relationship, and I need to stop it because I'm so worried that I'm going to fuck up something that's really, really great, and I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. Like, why did I go through his phone? I don't have any reason. He leaves it accessible. He doesn't even have his phone shoved up his ass. Like, literally, he goes in the shower, he leaves his phone on the bed. It goes outside, you know, he smokes pot. He goes outside and he just leaves his phone wherever. Like, it's never like he's constantly guarding it.
Has a reason.
Yeah, he'll say things like, he'll hear a notification, oh, babe, check, like, oh, can you see who that is? Or, oh, go on my phone real quick and call my mom. Like, just like, I know. Like, he gives me every reason to tell me, like, there's nothing going on in there. But yeah, I still felt compelled to go through his phone. And I went through his phone and I didn't find anything. And then I start making myself crazy, like, well, maybe he's just deleting everything. Like, maybe that's why he lets me access his phone, because he just deletes everything. So it's like this facade. Maybe I'll just be, you know, maybe I'm just stupid and I'm going to let another man manipulate me into believing that they're being really good to me. And then I'm like, no. Like, and then I try to challenge myself, like, you know that these are irrational thoughts, because let's look at the supporting evidence here. What is he showing you? What is he doing, you know, to make you feel this way? Nothing, woman. It's your mind. You know what I mean? But still, like, I can just feel myself starting to bleed into this relationship from wounds that did not, you know, even with, you know, sorry, this is probably TMI, but, like,
not at all. You
know, even with, like, sex and stuff like that, like, very insecure woman and sometimes intimacy, and it's just, like, he's so patient, and I just, like, I don't want to question, I just question everything. I'm sorry, I don't mean to stumble over my words.
No, you're fine.
But, yeah, I'm just starting to, like, question everything, and I just, like, and I'm so worried that I'm being, like annoying, because, like, my ex always used to say, like, yo, you're mad annoying. Like, I'm really silly, so, like, I joke around a lot, and I do require a lot of reassurance. I'll admit that. I'm very well aware that
a lot of women do. That's not.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
I'll be accountable for that. I definitely require a lot of reassurance and stuff. And he always made me feel like I was wrong for all of those things. So, like, now I have a boyfriend that, like, embraces that and is patient with me and doesn't make me feel like I'm wrong for needing those things. And then I just, like, why can't I just, like, be receptive to this? Like, I overthink this so much. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm probably being too annoying. Like, he probably thinks that I'm just, like, so annoying. He's gonna not want to be with me soon. Like, or maybe my insecurity sooner or later will fuck with him and he's not gonna want to be in this relationship anymore. And, like, I can just, like, and then a part of me is like, maybe I should just push him away before he has a chance to hurt me. Like, no, fucking woman, are you crazy?
I would definitely recommend don't do that. Sometimes when people bring this same question to me, I often role play it in the reverse. So if he was doing these things to you, would you be annoyed?
No.
And how would you react?
Probably the same way that he is.
So he's coming to you every day,
understanding, reassuring.
So every day he's telling you, he's waking up, the minute he opens his eyes, he's like, you still love me, right? How do you feel?
Be like, of course I still love you.
12 weeks in, how do you feel?
I'd be like, of course I love you.
12 years in, how do you feel?
Of course I still love you.
So why is it different the other way around?
No, you're right. I don't know. And I know that it's my own... I know it's my own irrational thoughts, and I really gotta get a grip on it. But you're not the only
person who had it, and I don't think it's necessary that you need to get a grip on it. I think that you're doing the right thing by being honest with him and telling him, like, this is why I'm feeling this way, because that's what's allowing him to be patient. It's not like you're waking up every day saying, tell me you love me, for no reason, and he's like, girl, what is this deal with you needing to be told that you need to be loved? You're like, I need to be told I'm loved because I was with someone who never did.
Never told me and never made me feel like
that's why he says, I'm going to spend the rest of my life telling you I love you, because he gets it. He, I'm sure somewhere along the path of life, he's been hurt too. The goal, though, is that if you're having these moments of, I think I need to go through his phone, these things that you see as, if he finds out I did it, then it could cause an argument later on, is how do we keep you from wanting to make those actions?
You know what's funny, though, is, like, he literally walked into the room while I was on his phone, and I just stayed on his phone, and he didn't say nothing.
Because he probably
walked in, got in his pajamas, put ESPN on, crawled right next to me, and then literally was just like, oh, babe, can I see my phone real quick? I gotta call my sister. And, like, acted like
because
I wasn't
part
just
of him
completely
probably got
invading
it.
his privacy.
Part of him probably got it. I mean, I'm sure he's lived a life.
my
I'm sure
God.
he'd be lying to us both if he said he's never been cheated on in his lifetime.
Oh, he has, and he's cheated before in his past when he was younger.
So he gets it. He probably was like, she just needed some reassurance. I've got nothing to hide anyways, so I'm not going to turn this into a big deal. But if you see this as something that potentially could cause a big deal later on, you know, we need to find that thing that's going to remedy it. Is it going to remedy it by going to him and just being like, hey, I'm having these irrational fears of insecurity. Do you mind if? Or, you know, what is it that you need to be told in that moment so you don't need to go through the phone, or so you don't feel like I need to attack him in some way or push him away. Yeah. And those things are going to take time to figure out, like, what those things are. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with looking at your partner and being like, this is what I need from you right now, or I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, I mean, I feel like I was really transparent with him in the beginning. Like, that's where kind of, like, me figuring out really who I was, like, as a woman. Like, I realized, like, I'm going to give people the all or nothing shit. Like, this is me, and you either take it or you leave it. I'm not tailoring things. I'm not changing things. I'm not suppressing anything just so I appear better than what I may really be. Like, I'm giving you the take it or leave it shit. Like,
good.
And I was really transparent with him. Like, listen, I came out of a really fucked up relationship. I got my ass beat. Like, I was cheated on. I was isolated. Like, I just gave it to him raw and real, and was like, listen, I'm an insecure woman. I need constant reassurance. I'm probably going to ask you 1,000,001 times over and over if you love me, how much you love me. I'm going to repeat things. I'm going to want you to tell me the same great stories about us for reassurance, just to make me feel better about myself. Like, I was super upfront, and, you know, he took that all in, and he heard it, and he obviously still wanted to move forward with a relationship and everything with me. And, you know, he just says all the time, like, as long as we constantly communicate how we feel about things, we're going to be good. I don't want you to ever feel like if I do something that's bothering you, or you say, like, I feel like something's going on, like, tell me whatever you need, and don't keep it from me. Just the moment that you're feeling some way, have a conversation with me. Let's talk about it. And I said, you know, and I want the same in return, vice versa. He's like, because as long as we always communicate with each other, you know, that's going to be the best bet for, you know, one another. Like, I know you need constant reassurance, and I know you require all of these, he always goes, extra things, as you say. He's like, but I don't find it to be extra things, because what you bring to the table and what you give is, like, so much more significant than something petty as me needing to maybe tell you that I love you. And as not even petty,
but maybe now it's just a part of you. And who knows, maybe if you were never even with your ex, that would still just be part of your personality.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, we see it every day. A lot of people really are like that. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think keeping it in, like you said, it sounds like you guys have a stable system. So I see your worry, but it sounds like you guys are doing all the right things already. So keeping that communication and keeping it non-accusatory. So you're never coming at him going, hey, I know you're doing something, or I think you're doing something. You're coming at him with, I'm having this irrational fear right now, and I just need you to ease my mind.
Yeah, I like the way that you put that. That's probably a good way. I always feel like whenever I'm going to have, like, a difficult conversation with someone, too, to start off with some sort of, like, compliment versus, so then they're not, like, defensive and feel like they're being attacked. Like,
that's a great thing to do.
I try to have that tactic, and it seems to, because then they open up and they're more receptive to hear what I'm saying. So I usually try to go with that, and, like, it's true. As long as I don't want to ever feel like I'm being, like, too much for him, even though he constantly reminds me that I'm not. I guess I'm just not used to someone, like, just being so, like, I don't know, obsessed with me. Like,
it takes getting used to, and you know what? You might wake up in 10 years and still not be used to it. Yeah. And that's okay.
I had a man that did nothing but look past me, and now I literally have a man that, like, stares into my goddamn soul sometimes. Like, I will just be sitting, like, the other day, it was funny. I know this is off topic, but the other day I get into, you know, we wake up in the morning, and obviously no one looks beautiful when they wake up in the morning, and I had, like, my hair on top of my head. I made breakfast, and I just looked like a hot ass mess. And then, you know, I had a party to go to, an adult party, so I got dressed up, and I did my makeup and my hair, and I'm just, like, sitting there because I have, like, a huge 6-foot mirror in my bedroom, so I'm sitting there with, like, my vanity chair just doing my makeup, and I look back in the mirror, and he's just sitting there, like, And I'm like,
can I help you?
I'm like, what? And he's like, and I go, what? And he like walks up to me and he kisses me on my cheek. And he goes, you're so beautiful. Mind you, like half face is done. Like I have like concealer still like sitting underneath my eyes, like to warm up so it blends better. Like I got one eyelash halfway done. Like, and he like my hair wasn't even done. And he's just like, you're just so beautiful. And I'm just like, okay, stop it. And then he's still, and then I get dressed and I come out and he's like, is that my girlfriend? And I'm like, stop it. He's like, is that my girl? Looking all fine. Look at you. He's like, you're so beautiful. And he kisses me and I'm like,
feels good, right?
it does feel so good.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
sounds like you found someone who's telling you, you literally just told me 10 minutes ago, I had this personality, like, I'm rocking it in life. And now you have somebody who's looking at you going, you're rocking it in life. You told me, you're like, everybody was telling me I'm glowing and that I'm killing it at being this person. And now you have somebody who wants to spend his life to tell you that.
I know.
So why is that any different?
I don't know.
And it's hard. I wish I could tell you that there was a black and white explanation, but at the end of the day, I think the best way to do is look at it like basically the safety plan of your relationship. You know, what the goal of your safety plan is, what's going to not make Ashlee freak out, and your actions are, when I'm feeling insecure, what I need from you
we
is
need to do a safety plan in our next session.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes that's how you handle it, is you look at it like, you know, here's my safety plan. The goal is, when I'm feeling like you're cheating, what I need from you is, when, and the same thing on his end, when you feel like XYZ, what you need from me is, because it sounds like he's open to hearing it.
No, he is so open to hearing like everything.
And so that's all it is. Who can you call when you're having these moments so you're not doing, because, you know, even though he's okay with you being in his phone, there are always those days where maybe he's going to come in and go, what are you doing? And now your first thought is,
I don't want
so
that.
what are you hiding?
Yeah, and I don't even want to be the person that wants to invade and go through his shit, even though he's giving me the opportunity to do that. Like, I don't want it to be like that. I guess, like, I don't want to be an insecure woman. You know what I mean?
That's unfortunately, that's a different subset of self-esteem thing that maybe we have to cover at some point.
Yeah.
Is, you know, and I wish I could say again that those things were fixed in a day too, but they're not.
Yeah.
And it's not black and white, and I think you're in a good place to start with is, hey, I want to go through his phone today. Who can I call so I don't do that? What can I have him do or say to me so I don't do that? What can I do with my hands instead so I don't do that?
Maybe that'll be my homework.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like you already have a good base of how to communicate with each other, but the goal is to not get you to a point where you're coming at him and you've worked it so much up in your head that you're like, I know you're doing this. Because those are going to be the things that push him over the edge. And he'll be like, I do everything. And the same way that it would happen to you, like your ex, you just told me, like, he built it up so much in his head that it was real. And you were like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. We don't ever want him to get to that point. So how do we keep you from getting to that point?
Yeah. I guess doing alternatives.
Yeah.
Resorting to other things.
Yeah, and just being open. Hey, I'm losing my mind right now.
Yeah.
Here's what I need from you so I don't do that.
Yeah, I just gotta continuously be transparent.
Yeah, it's not easy, but you're doing all the right things.
It is not easy.
No, not at all. I wish I could say that it gets easier, but I've seen for some people it does, and for others it doesn't, and that's okay.
I wish embracing love, like, was
It's
so much
scary.
easier.
It's scary.
It's just like exposing myself to being vulnerable once again, to potentially like being manipulated and lied to and stuff like that. Like, it scares the hell out of me, and it makes me just apprehensive about actually accepting in my head that this is real, and then the end result is me looking stupid as shit again.
I don't think that you look
like that's a
stupid last
rational
time.
fear.
I think that that's a personal feeling you have, is looking stupid. I think to everybody else you looked strong and brave, because some people, they let that happen and they hear those words, if you hadn't acted this way, I wouldn't have, had to hit you, and they're like, you're right, and they stay. And that doesn't mean they're not strong or they're not brave. It just means they're not ready. You were ready. You were like,
yeah, I was ready.
Excuse my language, but you were like, F this shit, I'm out of here.
I was.
And that's awesome.
I was definitely like, F this shit, it's time to go.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over the way you handled the situation last time or the way you're handling it now. All we can do is take these experiences and grow from them.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You're doing a killer job. Because, listen, I've seen many people, maybe not in your exact shoes, but in similar ones, and they're not handling it as well as you are.
Well, thanks, Gabby.
You're welcome.
You're the best therapist ever.
I'm glad I could be here to help you out anytime you need it.
Looking forward to session 2.
All right. I'll see you next week.
Yes, you will.